Ho, 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 whiskey friends, far and wide, we're live, a little impromptu Christmas 2022 whiskey live stream shenanigans. What is up? Eric, your humble malt music, along with Winston, the Christmas whiskey cat, sitting shotgun over here, keeping an eye on things. I thought I would hop on today, share a couple Christmas drams for those of you looking for a few minutes away from whatever festivities you are partaking in, or if you are partaking in none. A happy holiday season to the rest of us, the Festivus for the rest of us who don't have anything else going on Christmas-wise this afternoon into the evening. So I was thinking about whiskeys that I like, particularly this time of year, specifically, the kind of things I'd like to pour on a holiday such as Christmas Day. The type of whiskeys that might be good to share with a friend, maybe a family member, somebody who's maybe just getting into scotch and wants to try something really good, or something, that just kind of fits the season. And for me, we talk a lot about, when we talk about whiskeys, particularly in the Scotch world, but also bourbon, I guess you get, things like baking spices, things like, heavy sherry notes, so on and so forth. And I was thinking about, those are whiskeys that I like to have right around this time of year, and particularly on a Christmas day. So I thought I'd grab 3 of them and hang out for a little bit, see what everybody else is doing. I hope everyone is, again, enjoying their holidays and having a nice pour. The first one that I'm going to sip on here on this Christmas day, my first Christmas whiskey, something that's very affordable, that's very easy to get, and also something that's just, quite frankly, fits the bill perfectly. It's the Bunnahabhain 12. 12-year-old single malt Scotch. It's non-chill, it's natural, it's 46.3. If there's any peat in this, it's mild, but it's got that rich sherry and oak notes. Good winter warmer. For me, winter warming is key for a good whiskey. And that's pretty much because I live in Chicago, and here in Chicago, it gets wintry. So I got a nice dram of this. I'm going to sip on it and see if anybody else is hopping on in. We got Mark Lambert down in Brazil. What's up, buddy? Got the notice of watching. Oh, Whiskey Jason's live. Oh, that's great. I didn't even see that. Awesome, man. How you doing? Good to see you. There's our boy, Whiskey Straight Al, over there in Northern Ireland. How you doing, man? Merry Christmas to you. Hope you're having yourself a very nice Christmas day. Well, I suppose it's nighttime for you, so it's almost probably coming to an end, right? There's our boy, Whiskey Lover Society, Belgium or South Africa? Remember where you always are. You seem to travel quite a bit. How you doing, man? Merry Christmas. Oh, God, I love Buna 12. Downer Pass out there in Central California. How you doing, buddy? Feeling deep hour. Oh, cool. Awesome. Jura the Bay. Oh, that's a good, interesting pick. I can't say I've had enough Jura in my life. The ones I've had, I can't say I really loved, but I know that they got some good ones out there, and maybe that's one that I should look at. Good to hear, man. Merry Christmas indeed. Looks like the old Buna 12. Yeah, it is. It's hard to tell. I don't think they actually put scan dates on Bunas. If it is, it's somewhere I could probably figure it out. But yeah, this is an older labeled one. This is probably from. Hi, Winston. This is probably from. I don't know, at least 4 or 5 years ago. What I find quite often here. Hey, buddy. Right around the holidays, a lot of local liquor stores, Chicago, everywhere else, they put out these kind of gift packaged whiskeys, right? So you get, a whiskey, and then they got some, glasses in it, or they got some type of samples of some of their other stuff, so on and so forth. Well, Buna 12, I seem to notice every year when it comes out, well, I can still find these older labeled bottles in those. So it's almost as if they don't sell them all, and these liquor stores just put them back in the back for another year and then roll them out and so on. I find this a lot with Glengoyne as well, although their rebrand was a little more recently. So I did get some Buna glasses with this. I think that's how I bought this probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think I've had a couple. So Jason's on live, just recorded his Star Wars videos. Oh, cool. Yeah, Merry Christmas, good now. Yes, for sure, man. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, I'd love to hear. I mean, I hope everybody's having a good day. Whether you're celebrating or not, I hope you're, just having a good day in general. Is anybody having anything later tonight, or perhaps sipping on something now they want to share? Yeah. So I'll get a little bit more in on the Buna 12. So this is a whiskey, of course, that I've talked about a few times. It's, it captures this season for me just because, again, it's got some spices. It's got this kind of musty, dusty barrel note. It's kind of a cozy whiskey, if that makes any sense. It's not very abrasive. It's pretty rounded. It's pretty elegant, despite, just being a younger 12-year-old whiskey. And again, it's just got these rich, nutty notes, roasted nuts, which is, very common kind of thing around this time of year. And then, of course, these nice, rich sherry fruit notes, which have, and there's just this there's this indescribable thing about Bunnahabhain, and I'm trying to grab the name of it. Exactly what I want to call this. It's it's not a fire. It's not like a fireplace. It's not ash. It's not charcoal, but it has a bit of this kind of, I don't know, something fire related. It just has a little bit like previously charred wood, like wood that was in a fire, and you wake up the next morning and it's there, and it just kind of has that scent. I get some of that on there. It's really just darn good. Hi, Winston. I've always been really impressed with this. And I would say, despite this being a somewhat older bottling that I'm tasting on here, consistently speaking, I think there are newer ones, which I have had, do just fine, do the job just fine. Let me catch up here real quick. Hey, Greg over in Paris. How are you, sir? Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Phil and Deep. Okay. I did not. I wonder how I missed the notice on that one. Well, not trying to steal their thunder. Looking for Buna cask strength. Seems impossible to get in Belgium or Holland. The new one? Whiskey Exchange doesn't go out your way. I know their shipping costs are kind of intimidating, but I've maybe checked Whiskey Exchange if you haven't yet. I have not had the Speyburn 15. In fact, I actually just came across one recently at a local store of all places. Speyburn is not a whiskey that I often find on the shelf anywhere, but sure as shit, there was one down the street actually, and I'm very tempted by it. 30% through the bottle. Oh, I thought it was like 30% alcohol. That'd be funky. But it's not so raisin sweet. Okay, it's a little bit drier sherry. Interesting. Watch out that Buna 12 cask strength, because the more recent bottling had a big price reduction, and the first one was way overpriced in the U.S. Well, a little sneak preview, I suppose, for some of y'all around here. As I've said, I'm going to be resuming whiskey review videos in 2023. I had said I wouldn't do any more lives, but I think I've done 2 since I said that, including this one. Not a big deal. So one of my reviews that will be dropping in early January will, of course, be the Bunnahabhain 12 cask strength batch 1 versus batch 2 face-off of sorts. And, you know, I not to give too much away, but I'm quite impressed with one of them. Like, very impressed with one of them. So I hope you guys will take a chance to check that out. No. This is just the regular Bunnahabhain 12. This is just, yeah, I don't know, how old this is, but it's got some dust on it. I get into this one every once in a while. Yeah, this is, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe I bought this. I got a couple of those gift packs, and as I was mentioning earlier, and they came with some pretty unusable Bunnahabhain glasses for whiskey, as far as I'm concerned. But, old label, so snagged them up. The cast strengths, yeah, I will have a review coming up for that. Cheers, Greg. It's great to see you, man. Yeah, the whiskey exchange has always been pretty bad. But yeah, I'm sure that's compounding it even worse. A lot of the whiskey sites that I used to really enjoy buying from don't even ship to the United States anymore, or they ship to only like a handful of states as opposed to a bunch. I don't know what happened. It all seemed to happen a couple months ago, and just not getting stuff anymore, which is a bummer. Whiskey straight out. The missus got me a lovely print of the Bunnahabhain distillery as my Christmas presents. I'll post a pic tomorrow. Oh, I will definitely check that out. And folks, you should too. Just take a second and shoot a subscribe over on our good friend Whiskey Straight Al's channel, and you will get to see this picture, among other things. That is awesome, man. Jealous. Yeah, I mean, this is just honestly, the price has not inflated very much in the US. I think I sometimes see it around 60, but this is still a $50 bottle for the most part. You get the age statement. It's non-chill. It's natural. It's 46.3%. I mean, you can't ask for more. And while Bunnahabhain may not be everybody's favorite, I don't know, distillery character, I think it's a pretty decent all-arounder. Maybe not quite as accessible as a Highland Park 12, but I think this one is, obviously like a Glenfiddich or something. But this is kind of right. It kind of fits for me right in there, especially for like folks who are more, I don't know what you'll call it, seasoned single malt drinkers, aficionados of sorts. It's just a damn good whiskey. And as long as they can maintain this quality and the price doesn't go crazy, which I wouldn't expect, I think Bunnahabhain 12 for years to come is going to be one of these that I think we can always kind of count on as a, just a whiskey that will always bring the best it can to you for its age and its price. And like, frankly, there's not, I think there's always a lot of change in the whiskey world, and it's good to have a couple constants. And I think this one might be one of those constants in the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old single or standard release. So this is one of my Christmas whiskeys. I think I've brought this to more than one Christmas party, or another bottle of it. I've definitely been one I've liked to share, and I do just think it captures some of those slightly mulled spice notes, that kind of slightly warming, again, which is quite important for people like me who live in Chicago, where right now it is 7 degrees, pretty bad wind chill, and a little bit of snow on the ground. Bunnahabhain 12. So the next one, which I'm not going to drink quite yet, I think I'm just going to put it in the glass here, is just the straight up sherry bomb. I mean, this is one of those whiskeys that made me think of Christmas almost more than any. Unfortunately, not that easy to get your hands on anymore these days because they seem to get snatched up. And it is the Glendronach 18 Allardyce. So of their more accessible core range, this is the only one that's all 100% Oloroso. Now, this bottling is from 2019. So this is the long story. You can look this up, but basically, this is the Glendronach from. This is from. Yeah, this one's actually 26 or 24 years old, not 18. It's been a while since I've had it, but I'm going to get this in the glass and get it arrested because quite honestly, it's a whiskey that needs and deserves its time to rest. So we'll sip this Buna a little bit more. All right. Well, then we'll talk about Allardyce, the good and not so good about it. What's going on? Let's see what do we got here. Oh, hey, what's up, Top Shelf? Happy Merry Christmas, man. Oh, he's over on Phil and Deepest too. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably be hanging out for a little bit. Not sure. Leo out in the desert. How are you? Happy Merry Christmas out in Arizona. Yeah, shit, man. Well, I'm sure you got at least one Buna in your life, but there's always room for more, right? Greg says, I had some extra money, so treated myself, as no one here dares to offer me a bottle of whiskeys they know I'm into that, with 3 Lowlanders. Oh, which ones did you get? Oh, here it is. I also ordered whiskeys on offer. I'm saying the Fila Bay, so quite new distilleries. Oh, cool. You're late on that. I haven't had them, so yeah, nice to see you, Dustin, man. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, cheers. A little bit of changes in the background. I'm spending some time kind of reorganizing some things, bringing some out that have been honestly just packed away, and yeah, just a little bit of reorganizing. So yeah, this will be the 2023 backdrop for now. I hope you at least enjoy my samples for consolation price. Oh, it's got okay. Whiskey Lover Society. I have one left, also a 2019. Oh, you're the Allardyce. Yeah. Honestly, I haven't had a sip of this Allardyce in it's probably been close to a year. Maybe earlier this year. I don't quite know. I got a couple of these 19s when I heard about it, but yeah, we'll get into the Allardyce in a hot second. And the third one is another favorite whiskey of mine that honestly I've not had in quite some time, so it's a good time to bring it out, but we'll get into that soon. Germinator, what's up? Merry Christmas. Starting off the Farkless 17, slide into the Allardyce, cap off Lagavulin 16. It's sure to be a long day. That is a really nice plan you got there, Matty. Nice to see you, man. Merry Christmas. MC. Take care and stay warm. Be back at you. The cutoff for the Glendronach was 2019 for the 18. Now, the Parliament, I think the cutoff is this year, or was it 2022? So the Parliament, I think if you want a 26-year-old Parliament, you need to get the I can find out for you. And this is just because they had a bunch of stuff while they were mothballed for a few years sitting in stock. So the stuff that was getting bottled was for a couple years was older than you thought. Yeah. Okay, no. So the 2022 is the oldest for the Parliament. And now so it's 27 years. Yeah. If you want to see the post about this, I'll drop it in the chat. It seems to be fairly corroborated. So here, I'll just drop that link in there. I have one of those Dronic 18 bottles, excellent stuff. I think mine was 2018. Sure. So that was another nice old one, right? Lindors. Okay. King Barnes Balcony. Nice, man. Window reviews, interviews, Thomas. Please like and share. All right. Cheers, man. Wow, you have a cast strength batch 1 Glendronach, huh? That is not a whiskey that I have. I have the batch 2. Boy, that Bunnahabhain 12, man. it just fits. It just works. It's rich. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be drinking. Well, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to be drinking like a light kind of effervescent, orchard fruity driven whiskey in particular on a day like today, right? Um, Climate considering, I'm going to pass on the Glen Grant 12s and the Glen Cadam 10s and the Craig Ellicky 13s. I'm looking for something with sherry, with some of that mulled wine, those baking spices, stuff like that. That's really what's kind of fits the bill for me. And so this Allardyce, I think that we're about to get into, is a testament to that. Here's Greg. I consider GlenDronach cask strength batch 1 to 3 as the best ones, but some after are nice. Some say the latest one is good, but I haven't tried it. Yeah, I haven't either. Well, GlenDronach, I mean, I'll admit, between watching Ralphie's kind of back and forth with them about their changes regarding the labeling of their whiskey around chill filtration to the drop in age, I've not had any of their newer stuff. I will admit that. But I also feel like it's probably still good. It would just be quite disappointing if the non-chill filtration has taken a lot away. Has anybody had a 15 Revival or an 18 Allardyce, for that matter, since the non-chill filtration was taken off their label and done a comparison? I've not. The 15 and the 18 I just absolutely love. The 12 is fine, but I've not done it. And I think I watched the entire Ralphie back and forth over the couple of videos he posted, talking with them and talking with them via letters about this exact issue, and it left a pretty poor taste in my mouth. I did, grab a Glenallachie 15, which is matured similarly or exactly the same as the Revival, and I didn't quite like it as much, even though it's bottled with more integrity. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm fine. I mean, I have a couple old Allardyce bottlings, and so I'm not exactly running out to buy it, particularly now when it's going for 20 or $200 a bottle, stuff like that. But the fact that they have made this strategic decision to what appears to be chill filter their whiskey is, it seems like it coincides a lot with them being bought by Brown-Forman. So I don't know. So me running out to get their cask strength is not like something that's high on my list anyways, but that's probably adding to it. I just kind of don't want to give them a ton of money just because I feel like they were a distillery that is of high integrity. No, yeah, I have one. I think like a batch 60 or something like that. Liked it. Hey, there's Daniel out in East Texas. What's up, man? How are you? Did you read the Dramface article about this? About GlenDronach? No, I haven't. Somebody mentioned it to me though, and that they tried to kind of argue that GlenDronach wasn't stopping their non-chill filtration process. I don't know if there was more substance to the article. I don't know. But I think for me, the thing was, and again, this comes down to whether they have or not. And I don't want to put words in the article's mouth. I will definitely check it out. So thanks for the drop. I think for me, what it comes down to is just if you don't put it on the label, you don't care if your customers know or not. That's the part, right? That's what it means to me. And so it's maybe, not charitable to make GlenDronach the poster child for this, but they happened to be at a time when I think a lot of folks were holding them in high praises, and now they just decided that it's not important to share that information anymore. So whether they are or not, I guess, isn't as important as why they can't, why they choose not to disclose it, right? I think there's one thing when you choose to release whiskeys, or whatever, release your spirits in a way that has integrity or not, and then you share it, right? Like you can choose to not have integrity releases or have integrity releases, and you can also choose whether or not you care to disclose whether you do or not, right? And so like to me it's like kind of the same, right? Like there's no reason. I think we all know the consensus. I mean, I think it's an uncontroversial opinion that that chill filtration takes away from the quality of whiskey. I think it's not a stretch to say that the addition of color likely does. Now, if you put two whiskeys blind in front of me, am I going to be able to tell the difference if they had color in or not? Probably not. But to know that there's a potentially better version of it or a more natural version of it that could be had and is chosen not to sucks, in my opinion. So, like if you choose to do it and you don't share anything about it, then that's what you think of your customers. If you choose to do it and disclose some of it, well, that's that. And if you choose not to do it and then share all of it, then great. So I don't know, like why Glendronach would just take 5, whatever that is, 13 letters off of their bottling if they're still non-chill filtering, beats me. To me, it just says like, nobody really cares. Like we're trying to sell it to other people. We don't care. We're going to save on this letter, whatever. Maybe there's another reason. I don't know, but it seems silly. And I do buy whiskey that's chill filtered. I do buy whiskey that has color. I try not to, but there are times you have no choice. Sometimes they don't disclose it. So I might go counter hype, but to be honest, I'm not a fan of Glendronach 1521 based on too much said. Neither Bunnahabhain 12OB. Oh. I have 4 different indie bottled Bunnahabhains. I don't know. I mean, I watched the Ralphie thing, and the way it looked like it went down there, they did not deny at any point that they were chill filtering, right? Like he asked them point blank in their letters. He did not say anything about, they did not deny it. Like, why wouldn't you just say, no, we don't chill filter, we don't chill filter whiskey. I don't know. I'm sure there's more information that can be found on this, and it sounds like there's a good article Mark had mentioned we should go check out at some point. Stop watching Ralphie. The customer is a real problem for me. And bring any interesting content this late on current topics is too gimmicky. Sure. Fair enough. Doing well, sir. Just getting the house cleaned up. Almost time for some Glendronach. It sounds nice. Hey, Nathan Redmond. How you doing, man? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Oh, that's a great one. Very nice. Yeah, the Balvenie 15 Sherry Cask, really good. I thought about that one a bit too. Those are both really great whiskeys. Jeff seems to have a more broken record feature, even on Patreon, where we've all heard it all before. Yeah, I'm with you, man. That's good to know. I mean, look, I think that the standard makes sense to me. I think that if you're going to spend money, if you're given the choice, I would choose something with natural color, and because I don't want to drink color, and there's no need for it. I also don't think there's any reason to chill filter, and chill filtration definitely increases or decreases the quality of the experience. I think that's more important to me than color. And 46%. I mean, yeah, I'll drink 40% and 43%, but maybe we don't have to use the word integrity. It can just be like standard. It should just be a standard. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. I choose that word because it seems to fit the bill. I guess it does imply that there's a lack of integrity in other ones, but maybe that is a bridge too far. I'll have to check out your video on it. You too, buddy. Sure. All right. So Christmas whiskey number 2, and this one I choose for a pretty obvious reasons, and that is, again, I do think while your climate situation has to do, this is just a whiskey for me that like screams Christmas season, winter time. And again, it is the Glendronach 18 Allardyce, 46%. This one's from 2019, non-chill filtered, natural color. I mean, it's just gorgeous, right? Look at that. This is 100% Oloroso. Okay, so, and it says here, yeah, matured in just Oloroso. So most of the Glendronach core range is PX and Oloroso, like the 15 Revival, the 21 Parliament, and maybe even the 12. I think maybe the 12. The Allardyce is straight Oloroso, and this is why I think this one, for me, more than anything, just screams kind of perfect whiskey for this type of year. And that's really because Oloroso sherry, particularly when it's at this age, you get much kind of drier Oloroso sherry notes. And this one is like, it brings a lot of that just kind of baking spice, almost just kind of like clove, nutmeg kind of stuff, allspice, and then just dried fruits, which to me just are very, they make me reflect and think a lot about just remembering Christmases past and things like that. And so I think Allardyce is just like one of these whiskeys that just ticks all the boxes for this time of year. So again, you're going to notice a pattern. All 3 of the whiskeys that we're going to talk about today have sherry, and particularly Oloroso. But look at the color of that. I mean, that's just gorgeous. A deep red. I mean, it almost looks like cranberry juice. This is a preferred one without any PX, and that's why I like the 18 with. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I like the 15 quite a bit. I think it's this one, I do admit, I think I like more than that. And I also just find fits this time of year really perfectly. So let's check out the nose on this. Man, fruit compote, like berries and like it almost reminds you of like a cranberry chutney type thing. Ton of like nice spices. There's some pepper. There's definitely clove. It has mulled wine just all over it, and it's really quite nice. Cinnamon's in there, but the fruits, the big show here. Dried red fruits, juicy berries. There's even little hints of citrus, maybe. This is just a monstrous whiskey, just absolutely monstrous whiskey. And at 46%, I mean, this is just where you want it. You know, again, thinking about Christmas Day in particular, like it's usually going to be a long day. Not going to be drinking a whole lot right away. Well, I don't want to be drinking too much cask strength stuff. So this is like my late afternoon, after lunch kind of beer, you know, or whiskey. Wow. There's even a bit of like a raisin thing in here. It's just fantastic. All right, let's give it a taste. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, to all y'all out there. Mm. Oh, wow. Boy, it's been a while. This is just fantastic. Rich, again, dried fruits in dark red fruits, dark berries just dominate the palate on this. Pretty viscous. As it develops, you get some dryness in the oak. You get this rich Again, fruit forward, very fruit forward here. Blackberry, cranberry, all the berries, but in like a almost ferment, like not fermented, but just like very, just past, maybe just overripe. Medium long finish. There's hints of vanilla. You're getting a little caramel. It's almost like a little bit of that oak cast coming through. But this is a big, just sherry, sophisticated sherried whiskey, I would say. It doesn't bash you over the head with its sherryness in a way that it would at a higher ABV. I'm thinking about like Glengoyne, Cask Strength, Aberna, Glenfarclas 101, where it's just super hot, super intense. This is a much more relaxed and deep dark whiskey, and it's really, 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 really standing out. And it's been a minute since I've had it, but boy, it definitely makes me think about Christmas. Let me just catch up here on the chat here. Moving on to the GD12, says Mark. Nice. Nathan Redman. Ever tried any of those older Kirkland sherries? I have not. I was actually there yesterday, and they only had like a 12. A 175 of a 12, it was like $40. I thought about it. It was a sherry. It's like, I was looking for one of the older ones because, you know, I hear people constantly saying that they're like, they punch above their weight. No, I've never had Rampur. What's the verdict on Rampur? The only one I ever see around here is the Rampur double cask. Is that, I think that's what it's called, the double cask? Yeah. Yeah, I've not had it. But anyways, so just to come back on this for a second, like, man, this almost approaches being, and this is probably why this isn't a 5 of 5 whiskey for me, is it like dangerously walks the edge of like cough syrupy. It's good enough that it, and the spice is there enough that it kind of avoids that. But boy, if this was made with any less quality, I feel like you would just be getting a big fat wallop of like cherry cough syrup on this. It's right there. And I think to people who are not necessarily big whiskey drinkers, would be one of the first notes that they say about this. But for me, it's a much more, again, berries. It's almost like Malbec, like a dark kind of fruity, like dark fruit red wine. Merlot, I mean, not quite Merlot, but yeah, I think it just dances. It dances right on the edge of sometimes. Sometimes I catch a whiff and I'm like, wait a minute. And then, oh, wait, no. Boy, and the way it just opens up here. And actually, I'm going to put some water on this. And this is one of these whiskeys where just a couple drops is going to go a really long way. Just going to do like 3. I really don't want to drown this out. Yeah, it's brightening up a little bit. Strawberry, fresh strawberries. Oh, Andronic. Again, so the only thing that I think is really unfortunate nowadays, I mean, the price on these has gone bananas. Putting aside the question even about the chill filtration, non-chill filtration thing, they are, I mean, these are like probably $200 now. Average. I mean, I don't ever really see Allardyce cinnamon. Every once in a while, you'll still see them for like $140 or $150, but rarely. I mean, these seem to have gone way up into near Macallan's Springbank. You know, they're like tier 2 on that price scale. They're like right below that, which is just too much. I don't know. It seems a bit too much. I think I would pay $150 for one of these though, easily. Not sure I'd go much more than that. Not because it's not bad. It's just that, you know, when you get up into that, or that it's not good, but when you get up into that price range, it's like there's just so many options. As it stands, though, I mean, both of these whiskeys that are in that 4 or 5 range for me, if not a little bit higher. I think they're all buy at a good. They're all buy whiskeys for me. I think the Allardyce is just getting a little bit to the point where it's, pending. You could easily overpay for it, is what I'm saying. You got to hunt a bit. Water really, really does. Just a few drops on this draws out that development, tames down a little bit of that dryness of the spice and the oak. It's still a rather dry finish, but the water really, really does give it a little bit more. Again, great stuff. This is a whiskey that, and no sulfur either. I get no sulfur notes on this at all. Unpeated Amrut cask strength. Yeah, that's right. Seems unique, and maybe it's power suggestion thing, but I'm always getting spices from that part of the world that I need to figure out. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've really only had Amrut and Paul John, quite a few of those at that. The Paul John Oloroso was in my top. Was that in my top 5 whiskeys last year? It was in contention. I might have just missed it. It's a really good one. Wow. Wow, that's a heavy. Yeah. I might have to try that. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. I got a really dark Edgedour 10 a month ago. Yeah, Edgedour. Those Edgedour sherry notes or sherry whiskeys are fantastic, man. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've had a few. Actually, I think as we get into the new year, I'm going to have a couple to review with everybody. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. The last one I did was one of the Atmas. I think it's the Madeira cask, or is it the port? I don't remember which one it is. I haven't done a full review of that, but Telix and I did a tasting of that online live quite some time back. What can I say? Mark Lambert, can you remind me who you said wrote the Glendronach article? I'd like to check that out. But yeah, as it stands, I mean, the Allardyce just kills it. I think the only thing that I would like more from this is not quite as dry of a finish. Again, now this one in particular is from 2000. Let me just I got to get the light on this because I can't read this thing. Oh, no, this isn't the 2019. This is the 2017. So whatever, it's 22 years old. Again, this is not a surprise. I mean, the older these get, you might start getting a little bit more of an oak characteristic. But I do have some 2019s. Maybe I should do a side-by-side one of these days. In any event, it is a bit drying on the palate, or I'm sorry, on the finish, which I don't always mind. I just wish it was like a little bit less with this, or there was a little more in tandem with it. I think that's the only thing that I've ever really not loved about the Allardyce. But outside of that, I think it's a near perfect whiskey for a sherry bomb. All right. Whew, that is good. So, our starter whiskey of the day, our starter Christmas whiskey is the 46.3% Bunnahabhain 12. Now, this is just your, for me, it's like a good one to start off with. Again, late afternoon, kind of looking for something a bit more relaxed and sophisticated. We get the appetite going a bit. 46% or 18-year-old Glendronach Allardyce. And then there's my Christmas nightcap whiskey, and it's going to be an uncorking because I have to open a bottle of it because I don't have another one open right now. It's one of my favorite whiskeys ever. It also has some sherry in it, but it also has some bourbon cask. It's a whiskey that routinely is always just amazing me, and that, of course, is the 54.2% Ardbeg Uigeadail, non-chill filtered, as they say explicitly right here on this box. Now, this one might be kind of old. I don't know what the year is on this. Let me take a look, and then we'll talk about Uigeadail. This was one of the whiskeys that turned me into this guy. So this is 2017. So this is a 2017-year-old bottling. If you've never had the Oogie, well, you're going to want to. This is, again, 54.2%. It's non-chill filtered. It says so right here. Notoriously, Ardbeg does not share if they add color or not on their packaging in a lot of cases. I wish they did. It is pretty much universally believed that they do not. Add color, but boy, they do not take the opportunity to tell you. So here's what it says on the back here. Ardbeg Uigeadail is non-chill filtered at high strength, which retains maximum flavor and gives it more body and added depth. With water, a little cloudiness may occur, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it just doesn't straight up say it, which I would love if they did. So this is a marrying together of traditional deep smoky whiskey so this is the way they put it. It's a marrying together. It's traditional deep smoky whiskey notes with the luscious sweet raisiny tones of old ex sherry casks. So the marrying implies that they're talking about the notes that implies they're talking about their original 10, I guess, which is, of course, bourbon cask. So this is ex-bourbon, ex-sherry. This is one of those whiskeys that I've to eat it with like a steak you should try once in your life. It was one of the best whiskey experiences I ever had. And it's always been one of my favorites. I don't think I've had one in about 2 years. I think the last Christmas of 2020 was the one where I kind of finished off this bottle. So we are going to open this bad boy up here, get it in the glass. It's so good. And Chad Oogie. Now, results may vary with the year you get. I know some people would say that some of the newer ones are better. Some would say that they're not. And there's a consensus that if you get one from like 2005, of course, that's going to be amazing. But Ardbeg, of course, heavily peated whiskey. And this is just, I think, honestly, has consistently been one of my favorite whiskeys ever. And I try not to drink them, have one open all the time, because honestly, it might, I fear that it will take away like how much I love it if it's something I'm drinking all the time. So this is my first Uigeadail in like probably 2 years. Yeah, right. Yeah, I had heard that too. This is, I'm telling you, I'm almost convinced it's natural color. That is what the Uigeadail is looking like. But I don't know. They don't say. So let's check out the nose here. Road tar, ash, barbecue teriyaki. There's that sweet kind of graham crackers, honeyed graham crackers. This is sweet, spicy, and oaky. I mean, it's really the three categories you're getting on this. But it is, the nose is just euphoric. It has that very traditional Ardbeg peat smoke. But as you get deeper into it, just so many different notes emerge of sweetness, of fruit, of sherry, coming from the sherry, the bourbon cask notes. There is a broad, just fresh toffee note. Raisins, definitely. Grape, red grape. It's still one of my favorite noses ever. Let's give it a taste. Merry Christmas, y'all. Ardbeg Uigeadail. Oh, man. You know, this is just another, this is taking me back. This is why I try not to drink Uigeadail all the time. I'll be honest, this is, for me, just one of my perfect whiskeys, man. It's just one of my perfect whiskeys. The smoke, that soot, road tar, slightly maritime note you get from Ardbeg. The sherry brings about a sweetness and kind of a roundedness that takes away a bit of the citrus notes and replaces it with kind of a darker fruity note. The viscosity and the body of it is like medium to medium high viscosity, near perfect. The smoke hits right. It's a long finish, melted caramel. Just like cherry. There's a little bit of cherry. Yeah, it's just honestly, it's one of my favorite whiskeys, and so I'm like, this is my stuff, y'all. I'm just gonna put it that way. This is just my stuff, and I just love that every time I open a bottle of this, I'm reminded how much I love it. If I had to be stuck on a desert island with one peated scotch, it would probably be this. Bacon. There's just so much going on. The black pepper. Again, the 54.2%, which probably isn't cask strength, but it's near it, really just puts the icing on the cake for this. I think they could have very easily released this at 46 or something, and it would probably still be a really good whiskey. But I have there's one, I think, sherry whiskey from Ardbeg that rivals this for me, if not would probably surpass it, and that's the Dark Cove. The Dark Cove committee release, which I've only had 2 drams of in my entire life, which I believe was bottled above 50%. It was, yeah. That was probably one of my favorite, probably in the top 3 favorite Ardbegs that I've ever had. I do have the regular release, the limited release 46 version, which is also very, very good and rivals this. If anything, it tastes a little older than this bottling in particular. But again, I mean, I think this is just a straight home run, and it's readily available. I mean, you buy a bottle of Uigeadail for like $80, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little less, depending on where you are. I think it's a must buy, must have if you like peat sherry. And again, it's a great, it fits the season. It's great. Key is a winter warmer. You got the heavy peat. You got and then you just got the rich dessert, like just sticky, icky sherry notes, sherry and bourbon cask mixing. It's almost got like a chocolate thing going on. It's just awesome. I'm just gonna say, it's just. We were talking a little earlier about consistent whiskeys. I've had, I don't know, maybe 4 different versions of the Ugadal, depending on the years. I know they probably are putting younger juice in it nowadays or whatever. I don't know if that makes it worse. Probably used to be a little oilier and a little bit better. But I think at the end of the day, this whiskey is still a must-have on the shelf for me. This bottling, I said, yeah, was 20, what? 17? Yeah. It's awesome, man. There's almost like a Greg was saying. It's in some of the best whiskeys I've ever had were NAS. Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. Redmond, I never got into Oogie. Didn't seem sherried enough for me. Okay. I love Dark Cove. Maybe the Oogie was a bad year. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say, but the Dark Cove did seem more sherried. And Ugadal, I don't think is very sherried. It's more like an accent than it is the main feature. I'm totally with you, my man. Bacon burnt ends with a cherry smoked glaze. Just a hint of menthol candy lozenge. Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. That's great. I'm glad you got one. Shit slaps, man. This is nothing about. Just gonna say it. This is just a damn great whiskey, and for whatever anybody thinks about Ardbeg and what maybe the direction they've been going and whatever, as long as I still would argue that on par their core range is the best of Islay, and that's because of 3 whiskeys, 2 really, the 10 and the Ugadal, but 3 because the Corey Brecken I think is right there. I don't think there's a distillery that has a core range that on average can beat those 3 on Islay. It maybe even not on Islay. Wonderful stuff. Let me put a couple drops on here. We're about at that hour mark, so I'm going to wrap in a couple seconds. But let's taste this. A couple drops of water. See, man, I'm more of a Lafroy guy. Sure. Yeah, I get you. The drops of water on this actually tones down the sweet and makes it more savory. I don't want to say it's Mortlock level savory, but I'm telling you, just 3 drops of water has toned down the sweetness. Again, this is a neck pour, and it has gotten more like meaty and savory. Man, I have missed this. I will early next year be doing a full core range review of Ardbeg. I'll be doing the 10, the Wee Beastie, the Anno, which I have not had in 6-7 years. Ugadal, Corey Brecken. I may talk a couple of the special releases too. I might do the Hypernova. I don't know. We'll see. I might do the Hypernova separate. 2020. Yeah, this one is this is June 20th, 2017. So a few years back. That's great to know, man. I mean, it's going to take a lot, even if the quality, I don't want to say this too loud if they're watching, but even if it like has a bad year or so, like this is a whiskey that is so my wheelhouse that I enjoy so much. that has such as like I've had such a history with, and such a like it was one of the defining malt moments in my life until still to this day. It just takes me back there. That you know, I'm probably going to buy it almost regardless. It's just that good. So yeah, I mean, you want to think about your like nightcap Christmas whiskey, man. Oogie. It's just great. So there you have it. I mean, this is my 3 whiskey setup for Christmas, and since it is Christmas, I'm glad I got to share them all with you guys. My family got a little bit came down with the flu, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time with anybody as I normally would. So I'm glad you good folks were out here and willing to spend a little time with me on this Christmas day and have a couple drams. So with that, I'm going to just sip the rest of this oogie. I do want to just say again, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and thanks for all the support and love this year, man. It really, it was a fun year. I'll be back. I'm not sure when the next live is going to be, but reviews. I got a couple reviews coming up in January that I've already recorded and got ready. So you'll see those soon, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys got to say in another good year of whiskey. So with that, I'm going to hit the road. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year to all y'all, man. Everybody stay safe, be well.